Okay, we're live now, and this time I'm going to do the sharing. Oh, don't forget, up in the top left corner, you can turn on the group chat with that button in the top left, if you want. You don't have to. Okay, so we're going to do the sharing, and this time I'm actually going to do it correctly, I hope. And we'll turn off the pictures on the bottom. So you guys should be seeing my whole desktop now. Got some flowers over on the right, and then I got this page that has the one assignment on it. Are you guys seeing that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this just happens to be the first assignment. Does anybody have any questions on 2.2? Let's start with that. So 2.2 was the lesson on set operations. That's when we learned about intersection, union, set difference, and complement. How did that assignment go?
I have a question.
Okay.
Sorry, let me just grab it here. Can you work through 33?
Did you say number 3?
33.
Oh, I'm sorry, 33. I lost the first part of that. Okay, sure. Let's look at 33. Let me make a slide for that. Well, maybe I have it here. Okay, let's see, 33. In problems 29 to 38, we have a universal set, and you're supposed to find the indicated set in terms of A, the universal set, or the empty set alone. Oh yeah, so we're supposed to do this problem down here on the bottom. This thing right here, A intersect universal set. Now, just by its very nature, doesn't the universal set have to be kind of on the outside surrounding everything?
Yes.
Everybody got that? And so if we have a set A, how does it compare to the universal set? It has to be somewhere inside the universal set rectangle. Okay, so does the picture make sense?
Yes, it does. It was just we didn't get to the picture drawings until the following one, so that's why I was confused.
Oh, okay. So, well, that's a good point. That's true. So here's where I guess they cross over a little bit.
Okay.
So now's the question, where does A and the universal set, where do they overlap?
At A.
Yeah. So now you can see that. Okay,
right.
Good. All right. So that's number 33. Did you have any follow-up on that one?
No,
Okay.
like I said, I guess I was really just confused on how it was done, but now I see it, so that helps.
You're right. Without the diagram, this is very hard to show.
Right.
Anybody, all of you out there, other questions on lesson 2.2?
I had a question on 49.
All right. Yeah. Good.
Me too.
Okay. Number 49. So let me get into the flow here. We've got those two charts above that, first year and second year.
Oh, Jesus.
The shortcut for the first column is S1, right? Those are the set of traits mentioned in the first year. And S2 is the second column, those mentioned in the second year.
Which chapter
Okay.
are you on, Ron?
What's that?
Which chapter are we on?
This is 2.2.
2.2.
We're on lesson 2.2.
Thank you.
And so the page, the actual page, I should have told you, I'm on page 71. So on page 71, right above, a little bit above the problem she asked me about, is that table with those two columns. So anyway, now you said 49.
Correct.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, you can't do 49 unless you do 48. And I apologize for that, because do you see what it says? It says find S1 complement relative to the universal set found in problem 48. So that kind of forces you to go back and first do 48. So that's why I have 48 on the page too. So let's take a look at 48. It says find the set that will serve as the universal set for those two columns, S1 and S2. So it's got to. So first of all, a universal set would have to have all the things in the first column. So here they are. Here's the first one: encourages questions. The second one: sets goals with me. The third one: gets me to have high goals. The fourth one: listens carefully. The fifth one: is aware of others. And the last one in the first column is self-aware. Now the question is, what do we have to add to the list to include the second column? Well, is self-aware, we already had that up here, so we don't need to add that again. Listens carefully, that was already on our list. Follows up on action. Ah, there's a new one. Do you see that? That was not in the list. I had to add it. And now, if you look, you've got enough. So now we have a universal set that works both columns. Okay, now go back and let's look at number 49. Number 49 says, what's the complement of S1 relative to this universal set that I have on the screen right now? Well, what's the only, here, S1 is all of these. Here, let me change my color. These are the ones in S1, right? You remember that? That was in the first column?
Yes.
So the question is now, what's S1 complement? So what is there anything not in S1 that's in the universal set? And the answer is yep, right there. So the answer to 49 is, what's the complement of S1? It's just that follows up on action.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
So the lesson was for 2.215, not 9 and 13, 17 to 61 every fourth, right?
Yeah, is this not in that list?
No.
Well, fine. That's all right. We went through it anyway.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
Yeah, here's the assignment. So that means, let's see, let's just move forward. 17, then what would be? 21?
21
And 20.
25, 29, 33, 37, 41, 45, 49.
Oh, you know,
Right.
I did 30.
If I just did it right, 49 is one of the problems. If you're wondering why I did 48, that's a good question, but that's only because I guess that turned out to be a little tricky, because 49 included, just by its very nature, part of the problem it talked about 48. So this one here, that was in the 49 was in the assignment. Let's keep going. After 49, what? 4 more. We're at 53 and 57. And the last one would be 61. Okay, is there another problem to look at on lesson 2.2? These are good questions. Thank you for bringing them up.
Can you go over 37, please?
Absolutely. 37. Okay. Can you make a slide for that? I guess I'll change from red here. Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who asked me the question for number 37?
I did, Lisa.
Okay. So Lisa, what does it mean when we say a complement?
I gotta look at my notes.
Okay.
It must have to be within the universal set.
Yeah. So here, let me get my pen active here again, if I can. There we go.
We're drawing another one. That's why I got confused.
So where's a complement?
In the middle of the universal set.
It's all this stuff on the outside, right?
Yep.
Now this gets a little tricky. So now look at the red. What's the complement of the red shading?
The circle?
Yeah. So in other words, you're telling me the answer to this is A.
A. Okay.
And your reasoning was correct. Well, what's outside of the red shading? Oh, we're right. So in other words, when you do a complement of itself, you just kind of reversed your action and went right back.
Okay.
Kind of like a double negative.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's very similar to that.
Thank you.
Welcome. Other questions on 2.2? These are all good. Thank you. Maybe we should move to, let's go to 2.3. Let's come back. Getting a little quiet. So 2.3, let me just remind you, this assignment, this was all about Venn diagrams. So now we were pretty much stuck with either making the drawings or using those region numbers. And the assignment this time was what? Every other odd? Up to and including number 41.
But not 39.
What's that?
But not 39, correct?
I think you're thinking of 2.4.
No, Robin's right. Oh wait,
So that,
never mind. You're right. Wait, Venn diagrams. Yeah, it was page 80, 81, 1 through 41. Odds not 39.
okay. So I don't have it right on there. Fine. We're good. Not 39. I'll write it on here. So any of those that you want to talk about?
Um, 11.
All right. Number 11. All right, if here's the problem they asked you to do at the top of the page there. A intersect B intersect C, and then remove parentheses A intersect B. And for this part, they had to use that diagram. I have the diagram copied here at the bottom, but that's the same one that's in the book. Okay, so for the first, so all we need to do now is translate this A intersect, where does A and B and C all overlap?
7.
Region 7. So I wrote that like this, a set with just the region 7 in it. Okay, and now let's do the second part. Where does A overlap B?
3.
3 and 7, right? Here's where A overlaps B. So do you see it's both 3 and 7?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we've got our problem rewritten. Start with 7 and remove 3 and 7. What's left?
Nothing. Empty set.
You know, yeah, 7 shows up to the club, and the bouncer has on his list, you throw out 3 and 7 when they come. Well, 7 came, so he's out. 3 never came. We've got an empty club. So final answer on that one would be the empty set. This is that kind of odd thing where you're taking something away that never appeared, and that might have made you. It's kind of odd the first time a person does that.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready for another question from lesson 2-3. If somebody's got one.
Let's go over number 27, Ron.
Let's do that. Number 27. Okay. So there's two things on this page. Just ignore. Here, I'll put a box over that. There. Now we're looking at 27. Let me make sure I copied it right. It says draw a Venn diagram that satisfies the equation A intersect B is B. So this is kind of a backwards problem. This over here is what they gave you, and you've got to come up with a Venn diagram that matches that. Well, I guess I don't know how to go at this, except would you agree that my picture works? In that picture, in that Venn diagram, where does A overlap B?
All of B.
Yeah, can you see that? I mean, A is that whole circle. B is just overlapping part of it. But so where do they overlap? They overlap in B. How could you figure that out? I don't know. You could just try playing around. Had you tried this, does that work? In this picture, I just drew in red. Does that work? Does A overlap B equal B? No. Anyway, and you just keep playing around. What if I'd have done B on the outside and A on the inside? Now where do A and B overlap? Oh, then they overlap in A. Okay, so it kind of has to be this way. I don't know. Does that make any sense? So when you're completely stuck on a problem, you have to just try some things. It's kind of an exploratory exercise.
You want to do 29 as well?
I'd be happy to.
I came up with it, but it just was kind of awkward.
All right? Yeah, 29. 29 says A intersect B is A. Yeah, so here's the problem. And here's my diagram. Well, do the parentheses first. Where does A intersect B in this picture?
An
In
A.
the red circle.
Did somebody say the red circle?
I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong one.
Oh, you were looking. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got two on the page again. My apologies.
Sorry.
No, it's my. I apologize. I got too many things on here. So in this picture up at the top, somebody said it correctly. B and A overlap in A. So now we've got that part done in the inside there. Now, where does A overlap A? I know that sounds pretty dumb, but that's what it's saying. Where does A overlap our answer to that? A overlaps A and A. So this picture works. So you were supposed to come up with a Venn diagram that shows this, and there it is. And by the way, when I say there it is, any picture where A is a subset of B would have worked.
Okay.
These are all good questions. Thank you for asking them. Let me know, and if my explanation doesn't do it for you, please shoot a follow-up question back. Then we can try to do a better job.
Yeah, because I just really don't get those completely. Maybe it's the language, using,
Yep.
I don't know, the letters, or not knowing what the exact rule is maybe is where I'm coming in short. I mean, I know what intersection is, and I know to start in the brackets.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you what. Let's do it. Let's do one more. I'll do an even.
Okay.
And this time I'll do it with you live, and instead of having it done already, maybe that'll be more helpful. So what I'm going to do is do an even. Let's do number 28. So this is on that same page, and here's what the book says. A union B intersects C,
Right.
and that's supposed to come out to the empty set. Okay. So we got to do an A union B. I'm going to just start by drawing A, B, and A union B is just
Everything.
all of it, right?
Yep.
Now, how can I have that shaded part basically not cross set C? Isn't that what that says? It crosses C in nothing. So doesn't that mean we just stick C?
Yeah, on the outside. Well, that was kind of an easy one there, Ron.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
true.
compared to the other two.
You want to pick another one?
For some reason, I'm just struggling with the A and the B sitting on top of each other versus overlapping like what you just did. The overlapping I completely get, but that sitting on top of each other, not so much.
Okay. So let me just draw a little bit on that topic.
Could you actually do from scratch, like, so what makes me know to put B on top of A or A on top of B?
Okay, so which one was it that started this 29?
It was 27 and 29 that kind of was giving me an issue.
Okay, let me just try doing 27 and 29 live. Let's see if that helps.
Okay.
Okay, 20. Now, I've got. I mean, there's no. I don't know if I can improve on this one because of the nature of the problem. It says A and B when I overlap them, I get B. Well, whenever you get a repeat letter like that, you know, that A intersect B comes out to B, we got that B repeating. Anytime you have that happening, that pretty much tells you that one set is inside the other.
Okay.
So we've got A overlapping B. Where do A and B overlap right now?
In B.
Yeah. So that's what we wanted, because they said, can you draw it? So A and B, when they overlap, it's B. Had they said where A and B overlap is A, then we would have had to do this.
Opposite. Okay, got it. Thanks.
So maybe that'll help a little with 27. Now, let's talk about 29. So, A intersect B.
Now that's going to equal A, so you're doing it backwards.
Again, the answer comes out to A. Do you notice that? So we got A involved 3 times in this problem, and the answer is A. Whenever that happens, that pretty much tells you A has to be somewhere in the inside. So A intersect B. So this is the parentheses part. Where does A intersect B?
At A.
Okay, and now we've got this for our temporary answer so far. Now, where does that striped part overlap A? Oh yeah, it overlaps in A. So I know that may not have helped a lot, but one clue you helped me you helped kind of squeeze out of me and think about it more, and that is when you have an overlap and the answer is one of the letters you began with, that letter has to be a subset or in the inside.
Yep.
Can I ask
And
a question based on that question?
I'm not sure I know what you mean. Try that on me again.
So in 27, when the answer was B, we didn't have to circle in the B, but in 29 you circled in the A. Would that make B wrong or 29 wrong if you wouldn't have circled in the A? Because
No,
there was 3.
I only circled. You mean stripe? You mean that striping? Yeah. The only reason I did that was to explain something. Really, the answer is the picture.
Okay. I was just wondering if that would make it
This
incorrect.
picture I was using to explain something else. So let me get rid of that one. So the answer for 27 is a picture with B inside of A. And the answer for 29 is a picture with A inside of B. Actually, the shading was not required for either one.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, that's a good question. I only did that to try it out because I know what's wrong. See, 29, they got that extra set of parentheses, and the reason I shaded it in was to show the answer to the first parentheses. You know, but really, all that's required is the overall picture.
Okay, perfect. I just thought maybe because there was more A's than in 27 B's, I thought maybe that was why it had to be shaded. So I just wanted to clarify that.
What makes those 27 and 29 are hard because in effect they've given you the answer and they're making you write the question.
Gotcha. Okay.
So those are a little bit more challenging. The fact that you guys struggled at that is quite normal. And that's why those are a little bit. That's why those are harder. Good questions, guys. Is there another one you'd like to ask about on 2.3? So I'll tell you what. Temporarily, I'm going to go to 2.4. We can go back to anything you want to later on. So, don't feel like it's too late. But it's just a hair quiet, so let's go on to this last part. And see. I know some of you may not have had a chance to get through with all this, but let's see if there's any questions on 2.4. 2.4 was the one I think we all agreed was kind of what, a little bit on the fun side, because it was like puzzle solving. So, but anyway, what would you like to go through on 2.4?
Two four was fairly easy.
Okay, that's good to hear. Did you get all the way through it?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's a good sign. Anybody? I mean, there are still some challenging parts in there, depending on how the lesson came off to you guys. Any questions that you guys can think of on 2.4?
No.
I haven't had a chance to get to that one yet.
Yeah, I understand. All right, let's just open it up for any questions on all three assignments. You can go anywhere you want now. Or if you'd like me to explain part of the lesson, again, that, you know, anything. It doesn't just have to be assignments. By the way, we won't always have this luxury of having a review day like this. I just thought in the beginning, and the way the end of the chapter shakes out, like I outlined for you last time, it works out for this first chapter. You're all adjusting to this syllabus and everything, and I just thought it'd be nice to have a little catch-up time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't have too many questions right now, but I still appreciate it. It will help for later on.
Good. I'm glad. Anybody questions on any one of the three assignments or anything we've gone through in class that maybe needs to be clarified?
Not for me.
I don't have any questions anymore.
Me either.
Okay, I thought I'd just throw the video back, unshare the screen. So it sounds like we're pretty good, right, at least for the moment, huh?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Do we
Now,
have
yes?
Do we have more homework for this week? Are we going to do another chapter or
No.
no? I don't think so.
I don't know what you mean by this. You mean Thursday?
No, after today, are we learning something new tonight?
No.
No. Okay.
Normally I would teach one lesson tonight,
Right.
but for this one time, I'm not even doing that.
Okay.
So you're not getting any new assignment tonight.
Okay.
And will we hand our notes in to you this Thursday or the following Thursday?
Not this Thursday, because this Thursday, remember the plan is I will give a presentation to begin the class, and then the rest of the night we're going to really dig into reviewing the entire chapter 2.
Okay.
So
Then
this
we'll have, and then it won't be, so not this Thursday, but the following Thursday will be the first time you turn in your notebook.
and so this week is all preparing now, finishing up the assignments and preparing for the exams, reviewing.
That is the main emphasis this week. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
And
So,
will we have a test?
Again, we're kind of taking a little bit of a slow approach in this first chapter. Yes, go ahead.
The nights that we have the test, do we come in and do the test, or do we have lessons, or just come in and do the test and then leave?
That's a good question. This is Brittany. By the way, welcome, Brittany.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I couldn't get onto my computer, so I had to go the phone route.
Oh, yes, I see you're on your phone. Oh, good.
Yeah.
My phone is giving me some emergency message here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, there's storms all over.
Yeah. But anyway, the answer to your question is, let's see if I can remember it now.
The test, what are the test days like?
Oh, yeah. On test night, I still will have some time for people who didn't feel like they got their questions answered. So we'll actually do a little bit more studying on test night. And then when everybody feels comfortable, maybe we'll take a break, and then you'll take the test.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm trying to give you guys a whole bunch of chances to ask about things. So please don't hesitate to bring up something you're not clear on. Well, anything else that you'd ask about? If not, we'll hang it up early, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, good to talk to all of you ladies tonight. I see we had all ladies, 4 of you. Worries me a little bit about the rest. By the way, I did have another. You know, we had that one. Can't think of her name now. Back. Whose husband got burned.
Oh, yeah.
Ask about her.
Yeah, maybe keep that. I haven't heard any more. But now tonight, one of the others, their pastor was put in the hospital tonight, and her husband's on the ministry staff. So that's. Well, I know there are probably 2 tonight that are excused. So anyway, thanks for joining. Thanks for asking. You guys asked good questions. Have a good couple days here. I'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good
Good night.
Right.